Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Real Talk with Sacha. I'm your hostess, Sacha Johnston. Today, we're going to talk about New Mexico's culinary scene. New Mexico has a culinary scene unlike any other place in the country due to the unique flavors and flair that we have here. My guest today has spent the last several years showcasing all of the wonderful food and places you can get food all around New Mexico. Eric, thank you so much for joining us today. Why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
So I'm an entrepreneur. I love the food and beverage industry. I have two companies. One is our parent company, Media House Agency. We're a creative and marketing agency that promotes New Mexico's food and beverage industry. So that ranges from ranchers, farmers, egg producers, restaurants, caterers, private chefs, and even bartenders. The whole gambit, we cover it all. And Los Foodies Magazine.com is a platform that we relay all that news over to the consumer through our website, our social platforms, our YouTube channel as well.
So losfoodies.com, I actually follow you on Facebook, and I love it because I get to see when you go out and do all these different restaurants and farm-to-table events and 505 food fights. So I know I get to follow what you're doing, and I get to see some of the amazing meals you get to eat, and I even feel connected to you in the experience, like when you spent the day at the farm picking berries for your meal.
Yes.
So I know, what got you started with the idea of Los Foodies?
So 6 years ago, I moved back to New Mexico from the Bay Area. 14 years prior to that, I was at school at TVI, and I was studying web technologies, e-commerce, and marketing. It was the very early stages of the internet. We were still making a lot of mistakes and learning and all that good stuff. And I had an opportunity in San Francisco to work for a .com. And BigTrade.com is a restaurant equipment supply house. And what we did was we sold restaurant equipment, so like spoons, forks, salt shakers, coffee makers, all that stuff to restaurants on a national level. One of our biggest customers at that time was Subway when they were really scaling their company. We sold all the equipment that went into the restaurant. So I got a lot of hands-on experience there. I wore multiple hats. I worked in the shipping and receiving department, but I also worked with a photographer. I was his assistant, so I helped them with that. I worked with the inventory. Our parent company was an old Jewish family that they started off there like 60 years ago, 50 years ago. And the owner, his sons started the .com business. And so we shared inventory with them. So I also helped with inventory. Fast forward 14 years, I moved back to Santa Fe, and I was like, okay, there's less opportunities here like .coms out there. What am I going to do? So I knew I wanted to do something within the food and beverage industry. I just wasn't sure. So I dug deep and went to my roots, which was marketing. I have a love and a passion for marketing, and that's where I started Los Foodies. I wrote a business plan, and I started eating out all the restaurants, reacquainting myself with the New Mexico food scene, and that's kind of the short version.
And now you're a judge at 505 Food Fights on a semi-regular basis and a regular attendee as well. So I would say you've grown quite a bit. And I know you also have offices in Albuquerque and Santa Fe for Los Foodies.
Yeah, so I work out of my home in Santa Fe. I felt like I hit a ceiling in Santa Fe and I needed to expand my horizon. So I made the leap, took a risk like most entrepreneurs do, and I got an office here downtown Albuquerque. We're on 4th and Central. We're above Brixton's. So every first Friday of the month we have open house, and all the other studios open up their doors, and we have about 300 to 400 people that come every first Friday of the month. But I did want to back up a little bit and talk about 505 Food Fights if I could. I've known about it for a couple of years. I recently got involved. What it is competing chefs. It's two teams, two pairs of teams, and they get to the venue at the High Point Grill, and they announce the three secret ingredients. And it's kind of like what they do on the Food Network, and they take on the challenge. At the end of the event, they're judged, and all the funds that are raised from the sponsors and the door cover goes towards whatever nonprofit is named. So every week it's a different nonprofit.
It's a really amazing event, and it's one of my favorite things to do in Albuquerque because you have food and people, and you actually get to go into the kitchen and talk to the chefs while they're cooking the food. And getting to see those final dishes come out is just, it's a surprise every time. You know what the ingredients are, but they come out looking like something beautiful.
Yeah, and the nonprofit representatives from the nonprofits that are being supported that week, they'll be there at the big table, and there's just so much community being built. It's just a great way to make new friends and for a great cause, really.
Well, Eric, we have to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about some of your favorite dishes.
Awesome, thank you.
We'll be right back. I'm here today with my guest, Eric Martinez, the founder of Los Foodies Magazine. And Eric and I have been chatting about New Mexican food. Eric, I promised our viewers that we would find out what some of your favorite food is. So I want to start with, what is the best dish you have ever had that's not home cooked by mom in New Mexico?
Okay, so I get asked this question a lot, and my simplest answer is to say what I ate that day, because I always eat really good food. Today I ate at Le Troquet, and I had the cordon bleu chicken, and it was just amazing. It was just what you expect from a French restaurant. It was absolutely delicious. If you go on my Instagram account, you'll see the pictures of the food we ate. So
I'm actually hungry now thinking about that. That
it's a
sounds
great little place.
delicious.
It's third and gold, I think.
See, I'm easy to please. I'll get a Frito pie at Lindy's, and I think that's the best thing I ever ate. So,
Frito pies are bomb. Yeah.
what is your favorite New Mexican food? Something that's uniquely New Mexican.
Well, every Sunday I do make a pot of beans, and I look at that as an opportunity to eat 3 to 5 different meals. So last week I had enchiladas, and a few days before that I had a Frito pie. So
I remember that one.
yeah, you have your staple, and then you can kind of branch out from there. You know, calabacitas are really good, delicious, fresh. I like fresh produce. I like going through my garden and pulling out stuff and making whatever.
It's fresh from that day. I'm the
Yes.
same way.
If there's a jalapeno, let's spice it up, throw it
But
in
when
there.
I saw that, I saw the Frito pie on your Facebook page, and I just laughed because I know how well you eat.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, no matter how well he eats, he still makes himself a Frito pie.
Yeah. Oh, I eat well. You know, I go to restaurants and I'm offered, you know, all kinds of food, and I get in the gym just to, you know, stay in shape, you know, because
So you can still eat whatever you want.
yes, and I do. So it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
So you actually just mentioned earlier that you kind of help restaurants, especially with things like launching a new restaurant or a new concept or a new menu idea. And I wanted you to actually expand on that a little bit and tell us and the viewers, how is it that you can help in getting a new restaurant launched and getting the word out there?
So I have about 25 years experience in both front of house and back of house in the restaurant scene. I've owned my own catering company. I recently just helped a product launch here in New Mexico. We just built their website, so I developed all the recipes for their product. So I wear many hats. I have a passion for it. So there's all kinds of ways that we help. I also, if I'm working on a graphic design project for a logo, I'll work with a designer and the client as a facilitator to help get a final product. So we do video production, social media management, graphic design. Web design is my background, what I went to school for. But yeah, I do 2 hours of self-improvement a day, whether it's on YouTube or online classes. Right now I'm doing a principles of photography class. So I'm always learning and trying to level up.
And I've noticed you and I had talked, and you were telling me you're starting to put together some of your own recipes and sort of get that as a project.
Yeah, I have the itch, being that I'm studying photography and I've already done some recipe development for other clients. I thought it might be a good opportunity for me to get in the world of developing a cookbook. And I don't know if that's working with local restaurants and getting their recipes, like maybe one recipe from each restaurant, so that we're also raising awareness for the consumer about different restaurants and what they serve there, or if it's all about my own recipes, my family recipes, or food that I love. We're in the very early stages of development, so I'll keep you posted on my
I'm
website.
excited.
Social,
You
yeah.
didn't tell me about that.
Well, there's so much to talk about.
I know.
There's always something going on, something brewing.
Well,
in our
just,
organization.
outside observer's opinion, I think there's enough room for you to do both kind of cookbooks, and because both sound awesome to me. I'm sure you would have some unique, family and personal recipes that you would be able to present out there, but to have kind of the New Mexican cookbook,
Yeah.
and have a lot of classic recipes, and new ones as well from a lot of different local chefs, that's a genius idea.
Yeah, and as far as the local New Mexico recipes, I would want to dig a little deeper than just my own family recipes and go to the little communities throughout New Mexico. And I have a pretty good network of people all over New Mexico, and try to interview them and find out what their recipes are and include them into
I love
this
that idea.
one cookbook for all of New Mexico recipes.
And so because you mentioned the photography, it sounded like you plan on actually cooking these and then doing the photography yourself and putting that together as well.
My team and I, yes.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I think that's such a great
Our
idea.
office doubles as a studio.
A photography studio?
Yeah, there's a bunch of studios in there, and we work out of there. I've done some photo shoots there. I think I was really blessed with this location, downtown Albuquerque.
Well, I loved that you were just 2 blocks down from me, and when it comes to food, let's face it, you can't go wrong downtown because you're just in the middle of everything.
Yeah, the other day I went to Doghouse.
There's nothing wrong with Doghouse.
No, there's not. It's a great little place. Reminds me of back in the day, college days.
Well, it is surprising because we can go from Frenchish, and right across to Dia de los Tacos around the corner,
Oh,
and
another great
everything
place.
in between. Right. So we can, just in the Nob Hill downtown UNM area, you have every kind of restaurant imaginable, and you have.
Yeah, and Old Town's just down the street
Yes,
as well.
and some of the best restaurants that have been around for many years are in Old Town.
Yeah.
So, we really do have so much in the culinary industry to offer us that I think we really have sort of established a name for ourselves in the culinary scene as our own unique little subset.
Yeah, and I never want to forget the farmers and the ranchers and the food sources, because I think more and more consumers are wanting to know where that food is sourced from. They want to know their farmer. They want to know what the farmer used as far as to help it grow.
Right.
Where's the water coming from?
One of my favorite restaurants is El Pinto.
Okay.
Because they source almost all their food locally.
See, that's amazing.
And they produce their own honey, and they feed their own bees so that they know what is in their honey. And they grow most of their own produce all over New Mexico, and they try to make sure that they get their meat sources from local sources.
Yeah.
So I try to
Support that.
Yeah, encourage and support restaurants that do that. If they're going to source their ingredients locally, I try to patronize them to make that happen. Well, we got to take another quick break, Eric, but when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about your future plans. Okay?
Sounds great.
All right, you guys stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us back on Real Talk with Sacha. I'm sitting here with Eric Martinez today, and we're talking all things food in New Mexico.
What else is there to talk about?
I know. I mean, it's pretty much the biggest thing that we have is food.
That's all I talk about, so.
It's become a huge topic in my life too. And speaking of which, I know today is Thursday, which means it's 505 Food Fights.
Yes, I will be there tonight. My photographer, she will be there as well.
And that's your cousin, right?
She's my cousin, Leanne.
Oh, she's awesome.
She's awesome. We're gonna build a nice page on our website about the 505 Food Fights and what you could expect from beginning to end. And usually they have live entertainment there as well, which is another. And Chef Mike will have some food on the side that you could snack on while we wait for the winners or the food to come out from the chefs. And then they serve beer and wine as well.
And I know, it's not just like chips and pretzels. They actually cook us food for the patrons who are there for the event. Which
last week was enchiladas. And
there's a really good
red and green enchiladas, chicken and beef,
And they've done pulled pork sandwiches before, and I know
Yes.
they've done lasagna. So it's like
Lasagna.
they have full meals out there for us. But my favorite part is watching that food come out of the kitchen. You never know what it's going to look like, and some of the most amazing things show up on that plate, and you just didn't even know to expect it.
You don't know what to expect. And then the other thing, the camaraderie there. You have all the food and beverage industry professionals there supporting each other, supporting the good cause. It's just a great, wonderful way to build community, in my opinion.
My favorite thing is probably seeing all of the chefs from around town shut
Yeah.
down their restaurants and come down there, bring their wives, their girlfriends, their significant others.
It's a thing. It really is.
Yeah, it's an actual event in Albuquerque now, and people have come to expect it. It's Thursday night. You go to Food Fights.
I think if you're a consumer, you want to go there and get chummy with the food and beverage industry professionals, ask them questions, find out a little bit about their restaurant that they're at and, make a new friend for a good cause.
And again, you get to walk through the kitchen and talk to the chefs while they're cooking.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
Now, I happen to know if you stand near the judges' table, you can even catch a bite or two of these dishes.
When I do judge, I try to share my plate. It's hard sometimes, but try to share with it.
That chicken and waffles and the biscuits and boar sausage gravy.
With the blue cheese waffles, yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was
I would
delicious.
never share those.
No, everything's always on point there.
I've been begging Chef Marie for some of that boar sausage gravy. It was so good. So you actually get to judge at the competition several times, and I know you get to try a ton of different dishes. What's been your favorite dish that you've had come out at Food Fights? Because we know mine.
I would say that biscuits and gravy, the wild boar biscuits and gravy. I mean, that thing, it was a leg of wild boar.
I remember.
And Chef Marie, she put it through the grinder and she made sausage within that hour. And it was biscuits and gravy. And then the other entree, which was the Stilton blue cheese waffles. It was delicious.
And that was the pheasant.
I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
tonight. Yeah, that was with the pheasant as a mystery ingredient.
Chef Mike never fails to surprise with his 3 ingredients, which I love.
Yes.
And no matter how hard I try, I can never guess what he's going to do. So it's a great, I think the most exciting part is waiting for the reveal of the ingredients and then just watching that food come out of the kitchen and how every person in the restaurant stops what they're doing and crowds around the judges' table so they can all see it.
Yes.
So yeah, that's pretty exciting.
Good times.
And I wanted to ask you, I know you have Los Foodies here, and then you do it in Santa Fe as well. And you are actually trying to kind of grow your magazine.
So what we are is we're a digital, Los Foodies Magazine is a digital magazine.
Right.
A lot of people think it's print. No, it's a digital magazine, and we started off as a video house for the interviews that we were doing for different restaurants. Now we do photography as well. But yeah, we're getting ready to revamp the website, and we're gonna have different sections. So you'll have like farm to table, you'll have local restaurants, chefs. We're gonna have a section about happy hours. So it'll be a great news place, but it'll also be a reference, point of reference for if you're looking for a place on the west side or on the south side or wherever.
Or maybe South American, style restaurant or something like that. I know a lot of people sometimes are just in the mood for a certain type of food. So why don't you tell us about your website and what kind of information and things you have to offer, and where else we can find you besides your website?
So I'll start with where else you could find us. We're very active on Facebook at Los Foodies. Same thing on Instagram. We have a YouTube channel with about 60 videos of all the different food opportunities that we had. Another thing that we also do is events. I was one of the main sponsors for the Fiery Food Show, which is our big annual fiery food event. So hot sauce, salsas, and barbecue sauces, yes. And as for the website, we're in the middle of redeveloping it. For the last 6 years, we've used it as a place to drive, where we would drive traffic to for the different landing pages that we were promoting. Now we're doing inbound, so if you're a consumer coming into our website, you'll find different departments that you can go into. Nutritional. We're still figuring out the little subsections, but it'll have a lot of content on there that consumers will like.
So I have to put you on the spot and ask you, what is your favorite restaurant?
Oh.
Anywhere in New Mexico. It doesn't have to be in Albuquerque.
Favorite restaurant. I would say Geronimo's in Santa Fe, hands down.
Oh, you can't go wrong. That is a really good choice.
Yeah, but there's a lot out there, and Dia de los Tacos. It doesn't have to be fine dining, but you get that fine dining experience at Dia de los Tacos. I mean, there's all kinds of places that I don't even know about. There's 680 mom and pop restaurants in Albuquerque, and I'm dying to find out what you guys have to offer. I should say we, because I'm from Santa Fe, but I went to school out here, and I know the community, so I consider myself a Burqueño.
A Burqueño?
Yeah.
We won't judge you. It's okay. I'm a transplant myself. I'm originally from Tennessee.
Okay.
But I moved here when I was a kid, and I've lived here over 30 years. And I
Oh,
love
yeah.
it, yeah.
You're part of the fabric here.
Exactly. And I couldn't imagine living anywhere else because of all the flavor and the culture and the flair that we have here. Nothing
We're very
is boring.
lucky. Yeah, nothing's boring.
Nothing is boring. Not visually, not with taste, nothing. It's the smells and the sights, and I happen to love that. I think we have such a deep-rooted culture in this area, and that's one of the things I think we're lucky for, is all, that food is the telling of that story of that culture.
Oh, yeah.
And the evolution of those ingredients and those flavors is the evolution of those people. So that's my favorite part about all of this.
That's awesome.
All right, so since your favorite restaurant is Geronimo's in Santa Fe, what is your favorite Albuquerque restaurant?
Well, today I ate at Le Troquet. It's a little French restaurant on 3rd and Gold, and I had the cordon bleu chicken plate. It was delicious. I mean, the mushrooms, everything was just so delicious. And for me to say which is my favorite, it's hard because there's so many good ones out there.
I know. I was trying to get you to say it.
I try to say, I try to say the plate that I ate that day if it was good, because they're all great culinary experiences.
Well, Eric, we're out of time for today, but I want to thank you so much for joining me.
Same here. Thank you, too.
You have been a great guest.
Great time. Thank you.
And if you guys want to learn more about Eric or Los Foodies, make sure you check them out at Los Foodies on Facebook and Instagram, or losfoodiesmagazine.com. And thank you, everyone, so much for joining us for another episode of Real Talk with Sacha. You have a great day.